Good morning again.
Good morning. Good morning.
We're going to see how well my technology works today. And don't let me scare you with all this paper I have up here. I brought way more than what I needed. As I sat preparing yesterday, I had written out several pages. And I thought, man, that's not a good way to start. So I had the music playing. I had a song come on. And I thought, yep, this is it. This week has been an extremely busy week. And I'm sure your week has been similar to mine. We've had Thanksgiving, then Black Friday, then Small Business Saturday, then Christ the King Sunday, Shoppers Monday, Giving Tuesday, and oh my gosh, Christmas is only 4 weeks away. So have you got all your gifts bought yet? I haven't determined that yet. I still need to wrap them, the ones that I purchased and the ones that I haven't yet. I had to put up the tree. Then I had to decorate the house. And somewhere in there, I had to do a little work on my real estate. And then I had to make a Christmas menu so that we knew what we were having for dinner. I knew what I needed to buy. I knew what I needed to keep in the freezer and what needed to go in the refrigerator. And then how many was there coming for dinner again? 15? I keep losing count. Oh yeah, and then I had to go to the store and buy a new kitchen table because I've sold my old one. And I hope it's delivered before Christmas because, yeah, I have 15 people coming to my house for Christmas. Thank goodness it's a Saturday after. Hopefully I'll have a kitchen table by then. But then, what do I hear on the radio? I hear a song that I need to share the lyrics to. It's called Breathe by Johnny Diaz. And it goes like this. Alarm clock screaming, bare feet hit the floor, it's off to the races, everybody out the door, I'm feeling like I'm falling behind. It's a crazy life. 90 miles an hour, going fast as I can, trying to push a little harder, trying to get the upper hand. So much to do and so little time. It's a crazy life. It's ready, set, go. It's another wild day when the stress is on the rise. In my heart I feel you say, just breathe. Just breathe. Come and rest at my feet and be. Just be. Chaos calls, but all you really need is to just breathe. Third cup of joe, just to get me through the day. Want to make the most of time, but I feel it slip away. I wonder if there's something more to this crazy life. I'm busy, 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 and it's no surprise to see that I only have time for me, me, me. There's got to be something more to this crazy life. I'm hanging on tight to another wild day when it starts to fall apart, and in my heart I hear you say, just breathe. Just breathe. Come and rest at my feet and be. Just be. Chaos calls, but all you really need is to just breathe. Take it all in, fill your lungs. The peace of God that overcomes, just breathe. Let your weary spirit rest. Lay down what's good and find what's best. Just breathe. Just breathe. Come and rest at my feet and be. Just be. Chaos calls, but all you really need is to just breathe. And that's what I did. I just breathed. I had to because my life is crazy. But it brings us to what today is all about. Because today's scripture that I read earlier brings us to the threshold of an ending and beginning of not only the Christian liturgical calendar, but of where we are in the story of Jesus. The truth, the way, and the life. John 18:33 through 37 that I read earlier is titled, Jesus Before Pilate. And in this interaction, we find Pilate asking questions of Jesus and Jesus responding in like kind by asking questions of Pilate. But before we get into the scripture itself again, let's look at a little more into the people and places in this story. Who is Pontius Pilate? Where did Pontius Pilate come from? Do we know? History tells us that Pontius Pilate was the Roman governor of Judea from AD 26 to 36. Ruling from Caesarea on the Mediterranean coast, he was primarily responsible for maintaining the peace and collecting taxes. Pilate built an aqueduct to bring water into Jerusalem from the south of the city, and he also had coins made that they used during that day. But the coins that Pilate made incorporated symbols that would actually offend the Jews. One had a litus, or an auger's wand, on it. Do we know what an auger's wand is? It's to divine water. Have you ever divined water with a stick? To know where to dig for water, make a well? Well, augury, or divination, was forbidden by Mosaic law. So he put it on the coin so it would offend the Jews. The other was a simplum, a small ladle with a high handle. And I'm thinking, I have several of those in my kitchen drawer. A little ladle with a big handle on it. But they used it to make libations during sacrifices, which was a common symbol of the Roman priesthood. Other accounts of Pilate portray him as cruel and corrupt. And there are references to him mixing Galileans' blood with their sacrifices at the temple. And he was actually recalled to Rome after having massacred a group of Samaritans. Pilate was not a nice man. And our story finds Jesus being given over to Pilate. Did you know that in the practice of crucifixion, it became widespread under Alexander the Great? It was a common form of execution for traitors, defeated armies, and rebellious slaves. Later, under the Roman Empire, only non-citizens, lower-class Romans, and violent offenders could be crucified. This was the time of Jesus. Exceptions were made for high treason or desertion during war. It was often imposed upon foreigners who were seen as threats to the Roman rule. During Jesus' time, the Romans used this to display their authority over others. This was viewed by the Jews as a cursed form of death. The praetorium where Jesus was brought was part of Herod's palace. It was where Pontius Pilate made his ruin. And it is where our scripture today finds us in the story of Pilate and Jesus. The whole of John 18 starts us at Jesus' arrest in the olive grove. He's taken to Annas, the father-in-law of Caiaphas, the high priest of the Sanhedrin, and one Annas was one who was regarded by many of the Jews to be the true high priest. Annas questions Jesus about his disciples and his teachings. And then Jesus was led, still bound, to Caiaphas, and from Caiaphas to Pontius Pilate. We find from here the rest of the crucifixion story through John 19. Again, as I first stated, we're at the ending and at the beginning. John has brought us inside the praetorium for a short exchange of questions from two very capable and powerful leaders, Pontius Pilate and Jesus. They're probing and testing each other with carefully chosen words. Like the commentators we watch today who parse every word of our public figures, they're trying to figure out where they stand, not only with each other, but with the Roman Empire and the world that they know. We must also pay close attention to those verbal exchanges, because their words reveal a stark contrast between the values and the principles that shape their own individual lives. Claiming to be a king or ruling a kingdom were just as unpopular in Jesus' time as they are today. But Jesus continued to use the common understanding of administrative structure to invite people into the upside-down kingdom. Jesus redefined power as foot-washing servanthood, plowshares as preferred tools of peacemaking, children as teachers of adults, and death as a way to new life. Let us remember today and embrace the truth that Jesus brought to us to share. Invite everyone that you know into the servanthood relationship of the kingdom Christ rules today. We must choose our words wisely. We need to sharpen the contrast between the Pilates of this world and the truth of God's reign. Jesus has invited us all to follow him into the upside-down community of joy, love, hope, and peace. May you take this time to just breathe and let the Spirit guide you on your journey into the upside-down kingdom. Amen.